Adventure awaits in the magical valley. The ant colony's busy summer. In a lively little colony beneath a grand oak tree, where the sun danced through the leaves and painted the ground with dappled light, there lived a bustling community of ants. The air was sweet with the scent of blooming flowers, and every ant had a task that was just as important as the others. This was no ordinary colony. It was a place where teamwork and friendship thrived. At the heart of this lively home was the queen ant, a wise and nurturing leader. She had a shiny, black body and a crown of tiny, glistening antennas that she used to communicate with her loyal subjects. Every morning, the queen would call her worker ants together to share a story that inspired them all. "Gather around, my dear ants," she would say, her voice soft but powerful. "Today, I want to tell you about the importance of working together and preparing for winter. You see, every little effort counts. Each one of you plays a vital role in our colony's success." The worker ants buzzed with excitement. They loved listening to the queen's stories. Some ants were small, and some were big. Some were quick, and others were more careful, but all were eager to lend a helping hand. "Today is the day we start gathering food for the winter," the queen announced. "We must work as a team and gather enough food to keep us safe and strong when the cold winds blow." Among the worker ants, there were three special friends: Brave Ant, Curious Ant, and Caring Ant. Brave Ant was known for her fearlessness and adventurous spirit, always ready to take on new challenges. Curious Ant had a knack for asking questions, wanting to explore every nook and cranny of the world around them. And Caring Ant was the heart of the group, always looking out for her friends and reminding them to take breaks and share their feelings. As the sun rose high in the sky, the ants scattered in different directions to begin their important work. Brave Ant led a group to search for seeds and berries, her eyes sparkling with excitement. "Come on, everyone. Let's see what we can find," she shouted, darting through the grass. Curious Ant, on the other hand, decided to investigate a nearby flower patch. "I wonder if there are any hidden treasures in there," she exclaimed, her tiny legs moving quickly as she explored the colorful blooms. She discovered sweet nectar and tiny bits of pollen that could be gathered for their food stores. Meanwhile, Caring Ant was busy ensuring that her friends took breaks. "Let's rest for a moment," she suggested, setting down a juicy berry she had found. "We need to keep our energy up." The other ants gathered around, munching on the berry and enjoying the moment together. Caring Ant smiled, knowing that taking breaks was just as important as working hard. As the day went on, the ants worked tirelessly, each group focusing on their tasks. Brave Ant climbed high on a tall blade of grass, using her strength to gather seeds from the tops of flowers. Curious Ant scurried around, observing everything she saw, marveling at the wonders of the world. And Caring Ant made sure everyone stayed connected, sharing stories and laughter along the way. But suddenly, dark clouds rolled in, and the wind began to howl. "Oh no!" exclaimed Curious Ant, looking up at the sky. "It looks like a storm is coming." The ants stopped in their tracks, worry etched on their tiny faces. "We need to get back to the colony quickly," Brave Ant shouted, her heart racing. With determination, the ants hurried back to their home, dodging raindrops that began to fall like tiny pearls from the sky. They rushed through the tunnels and into the safety of their cozy nest. Once inside, they huddled together, grateful to be safe from the storm outside. As the rain poured and the wind howled, the queen ant reassured her colony, "We are safe here together. Remember, we have worked hard, and we will gather even more food once the storm passes." The worker ants nodded, their hearts filled with hope. After the storm subsided, the sun peeked through the clouds, and a beautiful rainbow arched across the sky. The ants, filled with renewed energy and excitement, couldn't wait to return to their gathering. "Let's get back to work," shouted Brave Ant, her spirit unbroken. With laughter and joy, the ants swarmed back outside, ready to continue their important mission. They knew that together, they could overcome any obstacle, and each ant felt a special sense of belonging in their loving colony. As the sun began to set, painting the sky with shades of pink and orange, the ants worked side by side, gathering food and sharing stories. Their hearts were filled with the joy of friendship and teamwork, and they were determined to prepare for the winter ahead. And so, the ant colony continued their busy summer, united and strong, with the warmth of community surrounding them like a cozy blanket. They knew that with each passing day, they were one step closer to being ready for whatever challenges winter might bring. The Great Food Gathering Expedition. As the days of summer rolled on, the little ant colony beneath the grand oak tree became even busier. The ants had gathered plenty of food, but they knew they needed even more to prepare. For the winter ahead, the queen ant, with her gentle yet commanding presence, gathered all the worker ants for an important meeting. "Listen closely, my dear ants," she said, her voice warm and encouraging. "We have done well, but I believe it's time for an adventure. I want us to explore beyond our usual paths and discover new food sources. Who is ready to go on a grand food gathering expedition?" The worker ants buzzed with excitement at the thought of an adventure. Brave Ant raised her antenna high. "I'm ready. Let's go and see what we can find," she exclaimed, her heart racing with thrill. Curious Ant's eyes sparkled with curiosity. "Oh, this will be so much fun. I can't wait to explore new places." Caring Ant, always mindful of her friends, chimed in, "Let's make sure we stick together and keep each other safe. Adventures are more fun when we're a team." The others nodded, feeling the warmth of friendship fill their hearts. The ants decided to split into small groups, each with a specific destination in mind. Brave Ant, Curious Ant, and Caring Ant teamed up, ready to tackle whatever challenges lay ahead. They ventured out of their cozy colony, marching in a straight line, their tiny legs moving in harmony. As they journeyed, they came across a wide, sparkling stream that danced and sparkled in the sunlight. The sound of the water was like music to their ears, but the ants were faced with a dilemma. How would they cross the stream? "We can't just wade through the water," exclaimed Caring Ant, peering over the edge. "It's too deep for us." Brave Ant, always quick to act, thought for a moment. "What if we build a bridge using twigs and leaves?" she suggested. "We can work together to create a safe path across." "Great idea, Brave Ant," said Curious Ant, her enthusiasm bubbling over. "Let's find some twigs." The three friends began searching for twigs and leaves, their tiny bodies darting here and there. They worked together, gathering the materials they needed. It was a delightful sight as they raced around, encouraging one another and giggling with excitement. Once they had collected enough twigs, they carefully placed them across the stream, creating a makeshift bridge. With determination shining in their eyes, they tested it cautiously. One by one, the ants crossed the stream, cheering and celebrating their teamwork. "Hooray, we did it!" shouted Brave Ant as she reached the other side. "Look at what we accomplished together." Curious Ant danced around, excitedly saying, "I can't believe we crossed the stream. What else will we find on our adventure?" As they explored further, the trio stumbled upon a meadow filled with vibrant flowers and delicious-looking fruits hanging from the plants. The colors were so bright that they seemed to sing in the sunlight. "Wow, look at all the food," said Curious Ant, her eyes wide with wonder. "This is amazing." But as they began to gather the tasty treasures, a friendly but large creature appeared. It was a fluffy rabbit with soft, velvety fur and big, curious eyes. The rabbit hopped closer, intrigued by the tiny ants. "What are you little ones doing in my meadow?" the rabbit asked, tilting his head. Caring Ant stepped forward, her voice friendly and welcoming. "Hello, we are gathering food for our colony. Would you like to help us?" The rabbit's eyes sparkled with delight. "I'd love to. I know where the juiciest carrots are." He pointed with his nose toward a patch of orange carrots peeking through the green grass. Brave Ant felt a little nervous, looking up at the large creature. "Are you sure you won't accidentally step on us?" she asked, her voice quivering slightly. The rabbit chuckled, his voice gentle and warm. "I promise to be careful. I wouldn't want to hurt any of my new friends." Curious Ant grinned, feeling reassured. "Let's show him what we're gathering. We can all work together." With the rabbit's help, they found the biggest and juiciest carrots they had ever seen. The rabbit showed them how to dig them up safely, and the ants learned to work in harmony with their new friend. They formed a line, passing the carrots back and forth, their tiny legs moving in perfect rhythm. "Look at this carrot," said Brave Ant, her eyes wide with excitement. "It's huge." Curious Ant bounced with glee. "This will be enough food for our entire colony." As they worked, the rabbit shared stories about the meadow and the adventures he had experienced. "Did you know that there are beautiful butterflies that come to visit in the summer?" he said, his eyes sparkling with joy. "And in the fall, the leaves change colors, painting the whole meadow in golds and reds." The ants listened, enchanted by the rabbit's tales. They had never ventured so far before, and each story opened their minds to the wonders of the world outside their colony. After gathering a mountain of delicious food, they decided to take a break and enjoy a snack together. They shared a delightful feast of berries, carrots, and sweet nectar, laughing and sharing stories. Caring Ant made sure everyone had enough to eat, reminding them to savor the moment. "This is the best day ever," exclaimed Curious Ant, licking her tiny lips. "I'm so glad we decided to explore together." Brave Ant smiled, her heart filled with happiness. "And I'm so glad we made a new friend." The rabbit beamed, feeling welcomed and happy to be part of their adventure. "Thank you for letting me join you. You ants are so hardworking and kind." As the sun began to set, casting a golden glow over the meadow, the ants knew it was time to head back to their colony. They had found so much food and made a wonderful friend along the way. "Let's come back tomorrow," suggested Curious Ant. "There's still so much more to explore." Brave Ant nodded in agreement. "Yes, and we can gather even more food." Caring Ant added, "And we can share more stories with our new friend." With hearts full of joy and laughter, the ants and the rabbit made their way back home, feeling grateful for the day's adventures. They had faced challenges, made new friends, and learned the value of teamwork along the way. As they entered the cozy nest beneath the oak tree, the queen ant greeted them with pride. "Welcome back, my brave little explorers. I can see from your smiles that you had a wonderful adventure." "Yes, Queen," they chimed in unison, their voices bubbling with excitement as they shared tales of their journey. And so, the ants settled into their cozy home, tired but happy, knowing that together, they could face any challenge that came their way. They adventured beyond their familiar paths and discovered not only new food sources, but also the magic of friendship and adventure. The scary encounter. The sun rose the next day, painting the sky with soft pastel hues of pink and orange. Excitement buzzed through the ant colony as Brave Ant, Curious Ant, Caring Ant, and their new friend, the rabbit, prepared for another day of exploration and adventure. "Today, let's explore deeper into the meadow," suggested Curious Ant, her eyes sparkling with wonder. "I heard there's a patch of wildflowers not too far from here." "I can't wait to see what we discover," said Brave Ant, her adventurous spirit ignited. "Let's gather more food for our colony." Caring Ant smiled, glad to see her friends so enthusiastic. "Just remember to stick together and we'll be fine," she reminded them gently. With a cheer of excitement, the group set off, their tiny legs scurrying through the tall grass as they made their way to the wildflower patch. The sound of birds chirping filled the air, and a gentle breeze rustled the leaves, creating a peaceful melody. As they approached the wildflower patch, the vibrant colors surrounded them, painting the landscape in shades of red, yellow, and blue. "Wow! Look at all the flowers," exclaimed Curious Ant, her heart racing with joy. "There's so much nectar here." Brave Ant nodded, ready to dive into the flowers. "Let's gather as much nectar as we can," she shouted, dashing towards the blooming blossoms. The rabbit hopped alongside them, his big ears flopping as he moved. But just as they were about to get started, a shadow loomed over the group. The sun disappeared momentarily, and the friends looked up to see a large bird soaring high above them. Its wings spread wide, casting a dark shadow over the flower patch. Curious Ant's eyes widened with fear. "What is that?" she whispered, trembling a little. Brave Ant stood tall, trying to be brave. "It's just a bird. We have to be careful and stay close to the ground," she advised, trying to keep the group calm. Just then, the bird swooped down, landing nearby. Its sharp beak and piercing eyes made the ants and the rabbit freeze in their tracks. The bird glanced around, looking for something to eat. The friends held their breath, their hearts pounding in their tiny chests. Caring Ant quickly whispered, "Let's hide behind the flowers. We'll be safer there." The group nodded, moving silently to find shelter behind the tall blooms, their bodies trembling with fear. They watched as the bird pecked at the ground, searching for its next meal. "What if it sees us?" quivered Curious Ant, her little legs shaking. "What if it wants to eat us?" Brave Ant felt a surge of bravery. "We have to think smart. If we stay quiet and still, it might not notice us," she said, her voice steady. The rabbit, trying to calm the group, added, "I've seen this bird before. It's looking for seeds and insects. If we stay low and quiet, we'll be just fine." The friends huddled together, hearts racing as they watched the bird. The minutes felt like hours as the bird pecked around the patch, seemingly oblivious to the tiny group hiding behind the flowers. Finally, the bird flew away, soaring into the sky, leaving the meadow peaceful once again. The friends let out a collective sigh of relief. "That was so scary," exclaimed Curious Ant, her voice trembling. "I thought we were done for." Brave Ant, feeling proud of her friends, said, "But we did it. We stayed calm and worked together. That's what made us safe." Caring Ant nodded in agreement. "We were brave, and we took care of each other. That's what friends do." The rabbit smiled, his eyes shining with admiration. "You little ants are incredibly brave. I'm proud of all of you." With their spirits lifted, the group cautiously emerged from behind the flowers, grateful to be safe. They decided to continue gathering nectar from the wildflowers, but now with a new sense of caution. As they collected the sweet nectar, they chatted excitedly about the bird and what they had learned. "We need to be aware of our surroundings," said Brave Ant, her voice filled with newfound wisdom. "And we have to stick together no matter what." Curious Ant chimed in, "And we should always help each other when we're scared. That way, we can be brave together." Caring Ant smiled brightly at her friends. "Yes, we can face anything as long as we're united." With laughter and determination, they continued gathering nectar, each ant feeling a little braver than before. They filled their tiny bodies with sweet rewards, learning to appreciate the beauty of their surroundings despite the lurking dangers. After a productive day, they decided it was time to head back home. As they walked, the sun began to set, casting a warm golden glow over the meadow. The flowers swayed gently in the breeze, and the world felt safe once more. When they arrived back at the ant colony, they were greeted with cheers from their fellow ants. The queen ant, noticing their excitement, gathered everyone around. "My brave little explorers," she called out, her eyes sparkling. "Tell me about your day. What adventures did you have?" With hearts full of stories, Brave Ant, Curious Ant, Caring Ant, and the rabbit took turns sharing their experiences, from the beauty of the wildflower patch to the thrilling encounter with the bird. Each ant's eyes lit up as they recounted their challenges and triumphs. "You showed great courage and teamwork," the queen praised, her voice filled with pride. "Every adventure teaches us something important. You have all grown stronger together." As the sun dipped below the horizon, the ants nestled into their cozy colony, grateful for the day's lessons. They felt a deeper bond than ever, knowing that no matter what challenges lay ahead, they could face them together. And so, With dreams of new adventures swirling in their minds, the friends closed their eyes, ready to embrace whatever tomorrow would bring. The mysterious path. The next morning, the sun rose bright and cheerful, casting a golden light over the ant colony. The gentle hum of the meadow filled the air as brave ant, curious ant, caring ant, and the rabbit gathered once more to plan their next adventure. "Today, I think we should explore the other side of the meadow," suggested curious ant, her excitement bubbling over. "I heard from some of the other ants that there's a mysterious path leading to a hidden grove filled with delicious treats." "Ooh, a hidden grove sounds wonderful," exclaimed caring ant, her eyes wide with delight. "Imagine all the food we could find there." Brave ant nodded, her adventurous spirit ignited. "Let's do it, but we need to be extra careful. We'll never know what we might encounter on our journey." With their hearts racing, the friends set off towards the other side of the meadow, the grass brushing against their tiny bodies as they moved forward. The world around them was alive with the sounds of buzzing bees, singing birds, and the gentle rustle of leaves in the breeze. As they walked, they shared stories about their previous adventures. "Remember the bird?" Brave ant said, her voice filled with excitement. "We were so scared, but we worked together and made it through." Curious ant nodded. "And we met the rabbit. I'm so glad we have him as a friend." "I'm glad, too," said the rabbit, hopping beside them. "You little ants have a way of turning scary moments into great memories." The group laughed together, their spirits high as they reached the edge of the meadow. Before them lay the mysterious path, winding and twisting through tall grass and bright flowers. The path seemed to shimmer in the sunlight, inviting them to explore its secrets. "Look at that," Curious ant exclaimed, pointing to a signpost covered in vines and flowers. The sign read, "The Enchanted Grove, a place of wonders awaits." With eyes wide in wonder, Brave ant stepped forward. "Let's see what's inside," she declared, her heart pounding with excitement. An enchanted grove sounds magical. As they ventured onto the path, the atmosphere began to change. The air felt cooler, and the sounds of the meadow faded away, replaced by soft whispers of the leaves. The path was lined with towering trees, their trunks thick and strong, and their branches stretched high towards the sky. Colorful butterflies flitted around them, dancing in the air like tiny jewels. Curious ant pointed excitedly at a butterfly. "Look at that one. It's so beautiful." Caring ant smiled, her heart swelling with joy. "Everything here is beautiful. I can't wait to see what else we find." But as they continued along the path, they began to notice something strange. The further they walked, the more the light seemed to fade, and the shadows grew longer. "Do you feel that?" asked Caring Ant, her voice a little shaky. "It feels different here." Brave Ant nodded, her antennae twitching nervously. "I think we should be cautious. We don't know what might be ahead." Suddenly, they heard a rustling sound coming from the bushes nearby. The friends froze, their hearts racing. "What was that?" whispered Curious Ant, her eyes wide with fear. Just then, a pair of glowing eyes peered out from the underbrush, and the friends gasped. "Stay together," Brave Ant urged, trying to keep her voice steady. Out from the shadows emerged a small, fluffy creature that looked like a mix between a raccoon and a fox. It had soft fur, a bushy tail, and a playful glint in its eyes. "Hello there," it said cheerfully, its voice surprisingly friendly. "I'm Pip, the guardian of the Enchanted Grove. What brings you to my magical home?" The friends exchanged glances, relieved to find that the creature wasn't dangerous at all. "We're on an adventure," said Curious Ant, stepping forward boldly. "We heard there are wonderful treats here." Pip's eyes sparkled with mischief. "Oh, you've come to the right place. But beware, the grove holds both delights and surprises. You'll need to solve my riddle to find the hidden treasures." Caring Ant looked intrigued. "What's the riddle?" she asked, her curiosity piqued. Pip grinned widely and declared, "Listen carefully. Here it goes. I can fly without wings. I can cry without eyes. Wherever I go, darkness flies. What am I? The friends furrowed their brows, deep in thought. Said brave ant, what could it be? I think it's something that brings light, suggested caring ant, her mind racing. What flies and makes darkness go away? Curious ant bounced in excitement. It's a cloud. Clouds can move through the sky without wings. No, wait, said brave ant, her eyes lighting up. It's lightning. Lightning lights up the sky. The rabbit, watching with keen interest, added, but I think it might be the moon. The moon shines bright in the night sky, and it doesn't have wings. Pip laughed, delighted by their guesses. You're all very clever, but the answer is the cloud. You got it. Yay! Cheered Curious Ant, clapping her tiny hands. We solved the riddle. With a playful grin, Pip led them deeper into the grove. You've proven your wits, my friends. Now, follow me to the treasure. As they walked, Pip shared stories of the grove's wonders. There are hidden treasures like sweet nectar, ripe fruits, and sparkling dewdrops that taste like candy. But be mindful, some treasures are protected by the grove's magic. After a short journey, they reached a beautiful clearing filled with colorful plants, shimmering flowers, and sparkling dewdrops that glistened like diamonds in the sunlight. Here we are, Pip exclaimed, waving his paw towards the breathtaking scene. This is the treasure clearing. Gather what you can, but remember to share. The friends gasped in awe, their hearts racing with excitement. They dashed towards the sparkling dewdrops and vibrant fruits, filling their tiny bodies with the delights of the grove. This is amazing, exclaimed brave Ant, her eyes shining. I've never seen anything like it. Curious Ant spun around, collecting fruits and giggling with joy. Look at this one. It's so big. Caring Ant made sure everyone shared the treasures equally, encouraging her friends to taste each delightful treat. Let's make sure we have enough for everyone back at the colony, she reminded them, her heart warm with kindness. As the day wore on, the friends filled their tiny bodies with sweet delights and laughter, grateful for the magic of the enchanted grove. They realized that every adventure brought them closer together, building their friendships and making them stronger. With their hearts full and their treasures collected, they decided it was time to head back home. Pip waved goodbye, his eyes twinkling with joy. Thank you for visiting my grove. Come back anytime, and I'll share more riddles and treasures. Thank you, Pip. We had the best time, the friends called out as they retraced their steps along the mysterious path, their spirits soaring high. When they reached their colony, they were greeted with cheers from their fellow ants. The queen ant welcomed them back with pride. You've returned with smiles on your faces. What wonders did you discover today? With excitement bubbling in their hearts, brave ant, curious ant, caring ant, and the rabbit shared stories of the enchanted grove, the treasure they had found, and the clever riddles they had solved. As the sun set and the stars twinkled in the night sky, the friends settled into their cozy home, feeling grateful for another day of adventure. They knew that together, they could overcome any challenge, and they looked forward to many more magical experiences to come. With dreams of new adventures filling their minds, they closed their eyes, ready to embrace whatever tomorrow would bring. The secret of the lost treasure. The next day dawned bright and sunny, the meadow alive with the cheerful sounds of nature. Brave ant, curious ant, caring ant, and the rabbit were buzzing with excitement as they gathered outside the ant colony, ready for another day of exploration. I can't stop thinking about all those delicious treats from the enchanted grove, exclaimed Curious Ant, her eyes sparkling. What if there's even more to discover today? Brave Ant nodded enthusiastically. Let's venture out and find new places. There's so much more to the meadow than we've seen. Caring Ant, always mindful of safety, added, but let's remember to stay together and be cautious. We don't know what we might find out there. With their spirits high and determination in their hearts, the friends set off on a new adventure, exploring the wonders of the meadow. As they scurried along, they shared ideas about where to go. "What about the tall hill at the edge of the meadow?" suggested the rabbit. "I've seen some interesting plants growing there. We might find something amazing." "The tall hill sounds perfect," cheered Brave Ant. "Let's head that way." As they made their way through the meadow, they admired the colorful flowers, the buzzing bees, and the fluttering butterflies. The day was filled with the thrill of discovery. When they reached the base of the tall hill, they paused to catch their breath. "Look at how high it is," Curious Ant said, staring up at the hill's steep slope. "I wonder what's at the top." "Let's find out," declared Brave Ant, her determination shining through. With careful steps, they began their climb, moving one tiny leg at a time. The ground beneath them felt solid, but as they climbed higher, the slope grew steeper, and they had to navigate around rocks and clumps of grass. "Hold on, everyone," Caring Ant called out as they reached a particularly steep section. "We can do this together. Just take it one step at a time." With each step, they encouraged one another, cheering each other on. "You can do it," the rabbit said, hopping along beside them, his energy boosting their morale. At last, after what felt like a great effort, they reached the top of the hill. The view took their breath away. "Wow," gasped Curious Ant, her antennae quivering with excitement. "Look at everything." From the top, they could see the entire meadow stretching out before them. The colorful flowers, the winding paths, and even the enchanted grove glimmering in the distance. The sight filled their hearts with joy. But just as they began to explore the area, they noticed something unusual. In the grass nearby, half buried beneath some leaves, was a peculiar wooden chest. It looked old and weathered, with strange markings carved into its surface. "Look at that," Brave Ant exclaimed, pointing to the chest. "What do you think it is?" Curious Ant's eyes widened with intrigue. "It looks like a treasure chest. Let's see what's inside." Caring Ant felt a little hesitant. "But what if it's dangerous? We should be careful." The rabbit hopped closer to inspect it. "Let's open it together. If it's a treasure, we can share it with everyone back at the colony." With a deep breath, the friends gathered around the chest. They worked together to pull away the leaves and debris, revealing the chest fully. The carvings on the surface glinted in the sunlight, and their hearts raced with anticipation. "Okay, on the count of 3, Brave Ant said, feeling a rush of excitement. 1, 2, 3. They opened the chest, and a cloud of dust puffed into the air. Inside, they found not just one treasure, but a collection of shiny, sparkling objects. There were colorful gems, glimmering coins, and small trinkets that shone like stars. "Look at all of this," gasped Curious Ant, her eyes as wide as saucers. "This is incredible." Caring Ant carefully picked up a shimmering blue gem. "It's so beautiful, but where did it come from?" Just then, they heard a rustling sound behind them. They turned to see a wise-looking old tortoise slowly making his way towards them. His shell was decorated with intricate patterns, and he wore a pair of small glasses perched on his nose. I see you've found my treasure," he said in a slow, deep voice. "I'm Elder Tortoise, the keeper of the treasures of this hill." The friends looked at each other in surprise. "Your treasure?" asked Brave Ant, feeling a mixture of awe and curiosity. "Yes," Elder Tortoise replied, nodding slowly. "Long ago, I collected these treasures from across the meadow and beyond. They hold stories and magic, but they belong to the land. I hid them here, hoping one day brave explorers like you would find them." Curious Ant stepped forward, her heart racing with excitement. "Can we keep some of the treasures?" she asked eagerly. "We want to share them with our friends at the colony." Elder Tortoise stroked his chin thoughtfully. "While the treasures hold great beauty, it's important to remember that sharing experiences and adventures with friends is far more valuable than any gem. If you wish to take something, you must first learn the secret of the treasures." "The secret?" Caring Ant asked, her voice filled with curiosity. "What is it?" "The secret lies in understanding that treasures are not just about wealth. They are about kindness, friendship, and the adventures you share, Elder Tortoise explained, his eyes twinkling. To take a treasure, you must promise to spread joy and share your adventures with others. Brave Ant nodded, feeling inspired. We promise. We will share the treasures with our friends and tell them all about our adventures. Very well, Elder Tortoise said with a smile. You may each take one treasure, but remember the lesson it holds. Now choose wisely. The friends beamed at each other, their excitement bubbling over. They each selected a beautiful gem from the chest. Curious Ant chose a sparkling pink gem. Brave Ant picked a vibrant green one. Caring Ant chose a shimmering yellow gem, and the rabbit selected a bright orange one. With their chosen treasures in hand, the friends thanked Elder Tortoise for the opportunity and the important lesson he had shared with them. Thank you for letting us take these treasures, they said in unison. We'll cherish them and share their magic with everyone. As they made their way back down the hill, the friends felt lighter, their hearts filled with joy. They couldn't wait to share the treasures and their incredible adventure with their fellow ants. When they returned to the colony, they were met with cheers and curiosity. The queen ant gathered everyone around, eager to hear about their day. With excitement in their voices, Brave Ant, Curious Ant, Caring Ant, and the rabbit shared the story of their climb up the tall hill, their discovery of the treasure chest, and the wise Elder Tortoise who had taught them the secret of the treasures. The colony buzzed with excitement as the friends presented their beautiful gems, explaining the importance of kindness, friendship, and sharing adventures. You've learned a valuable lesson today, the queen said, her eyes shining with pride. The greatest treasures are those that bring us together. Let us celebrate your bravery and the bond of friendship. As night fell over the meadow, the colony gathered for a grand feast, celebrating the friendships they had formed and the adventures they had shared. The stars twinkled brightly overhead, and the friends felt a sense of belonging and joy as they shared stories and laughter. They knew that no matter what challenges lay ahead, they could face them together, always valuing the treasure of their friendship. And so, with their hearts full of happiness, they closed their eyes, ready to embrace whatever new adventures awaited them in the days to come. The Festival of Friends. The sun rose brightly the next day, casting warm rays over the ant colony and the surrounding meadow. Excitement filled the air as Brave Ant, Curious Ant, Caring Ant, and the rabbit gathered to discuss their latest adventure and the treasures they had found. But today felt different. There was an energy that buzzed around them, igniting their curiosity. Do you feel that? Asked Curious Ant, bouncing on her tiny legs. It feels like something exciting is about to happen. I think I heard some of the other ants talking about a festival, said the rabbit, twitching his nose with enthusiasm. It's called the Festival of Friends, and it's celebrated every year to honor our friendships. Brave Ant's eyes sparkled with excitement. A festival? That sounds amazing. We have to participate. Caring Ant clapped her hands together, her heart swelling with joy. Let's gather everyone and make it special. We can share our treasures and tell stories of our adventures. The friends hurried to spread the news, their tiny legs moving quickly as they called out to their fellow ants. Everyone, come join us for the Festival of Friends, they shouted, their voices filled with joy. Ants of all sizes began to gather in the clearing, their antennae wiggling in anticipation. The air was filled with laughter and chatter as families reunited and friends shared their stories. Decorations adorned the colony, colorful petals, bright leaves, and strings of tiny glowing fireflies danced in the breeze, creating a magical atmosphere. As the sun reached its peak, the queen ant arrived, her presence commanding yet warm. Welcome, everyone, to the Festival of Friends, she announced, her voice ringing with happiness. Today, we celebrate our bonds, our adventures, and the joy of being together. The crowd erupted in cheers, and the friends exchanged excited glances. What will we do at the festival? Asked Brave Ant, her heart racing. The queen smiled, her antennae swaying gently. We will have games, storytelling, and a grand feast. Each of you can share your treasures and the stories behind them. Let's show the true spirit of friendship." The friends nodded eagerly, and as the festivities began, they found themselves swept into a whirlwind of fun. The ants set up games that involved teamwork, like races where they had to work together to carry tiny leaves to a finish line, and a scavenger hunt that led them through the meadow. Curious Ant and the rabbit teamed up to play the leaf-carrying race. They worked together, their laughter ringing through the air as they raced against the clock. "We can do it," she cheered, and with each step, they encouraged one another to keep going. They finished the race in a burst of energy, earning cheers from the other ants. Meanwhile, Brave Ant and Caring Ant participated in the scavenger hunt, searching for hidden treasures in the grass and flowers. "I see something shiny over there," Brave Ant exclaimed, pointing excitedly. They darted toward it, their hearts racing with anticipation, only to discover it was a beautiful dewdrop reflecting the sunlight. "That's beautiful," Caring Ant said, her eyes sparkling. "Let's collect it and share it at the feast." As the sun began to set, casting a golden glow over the meadow, the ants gathered for the grand feast. Tables made of leaves were filled with delicious treats, sweet nectar, colorful fruits, and crunchy seeds. The air was filled with delightful scents, and everyone's mouths watered in anticipation. The friends took their seats at the table, their hearts brimming with joy. They shared their treasures, displaying the gems they had found in the enchanted grove. "Look at this sparkling pink gem," Curious Ant exclaimed, holding it up for everyone to see. "We found it with Elder Tortoise, who taught us an important lesson about friendship." The other ants leaned in, their eyes wide with fascination. "Tell us the story," they urged, eager to hear about the adventures of Brave Ant and her friends. With animated voices, the friends recounted their journey to the tall hill, their discovery of the treasure chest, and the wisdom shared by Elder Tortoise. They spoke of the importance of sharing experiences and the magic of friendship, capturing the hearts of everyone around them. When the story ended, the crowd erupted into applause. "What a wonderful adventure," the queen exclaimed. "Your bravery and friendship inspire us all. Let's remember to cherish these bonds every day." As the feast continued, the atmosphere filled with laughter, music, and joyous chatter. Ants danced under the stars, twirling and celebrating their friendships. Brave Ant, Curious Ant, Caring Ant, and the rabbit joined in, their spirits soaring with the happiness of being surrounded by loved ones. In the midst of the festivities, the friends took a moment to step aside, looking out at the dancing ants and the twinkling stars above. "This is incredible," said Brave Ant, her heart swelling with gratitude. "I'm so glad we found each other and that we can share these moments." Curious Ant nodded, her eyes shining with happiness. "Every adventure we have makes our friendship stronger." Caring Ant smiled warmly, and it's the memories we create together that are the true treasures. Just then, the rabbit looked up at the stars, his eyes wide with wonder. "Look at how bright they are. It feels like they're celebrating with us." "Let's make a wish," suggested Brave Ant, her voice filled with excitement. "I wish for many more adventures and unforgettable moments together." They closed their eyes and made their wishes, feeling a sense of magic in the air. When they opened their eyes, the stars twinkled even brighter, as if they were sharing in the joy of the festival. As the night wore on, the friends returned to the festivities, dancing, laughing, and celebrating the bonds that had brought them together. The Festival of Friends was a reminder of the power of friendship, kindness, and the joy of sharing adventures. Finally, as the festival began to wind down, the Queen Ant stood to make a final announcement. "Thank you all for coming to the Festival of Friends. Let's continue to cherish each other and support one another. Together, we can overcome any challenge." With cheers of agreement, the ants gathered together for one last dance, their hearts filled with happiness and love for one another. As the moon shone down, they felt a warmth enveloping them, the kind that only comes from true friendship. As the stars twinkled overhead, brave ant, curious ant, caring ant, and the rabbit sat together, reflecting on the day. "What a wonderful festival," Brave Ant said, her heart full. "I can't wait for next year's festival," exclaimed Curious Ant, already dreaming of the adventures they would have. Caring Ant smiled and added, "And the stories we'll share." With their hearts brimming with joy and their minds full of dreams, they closed their eyes, ready to embrace whatever adventures awaited them in the days to come, knowing that together they could conquer anything. The Great Adventure Beyond the Meadow. After the joyous festival of friends, life in the ant colony returned to its usual rhythm, filled with the sounds of bustling activity and laughter. Brave Ant, Curious Ant, Caring Ant, and the rabbit were still buzzing with excitement from the festivities. Each day felt like a new beginning, and the bonds of friendship they had formed made everything even brighter. As the sun rose one morning, Brave Ant gathered her friends for an important discussion. I've been thinking, there's so much more out there beyond the meadow. What if we went on a grand adventure to explore new places? Curious Ant's eyes widened with excitement. That sounds amazing. I want to see what lies beyond the flowers and the tall grass. Caring Ant smiled, but her expression turned thoughtful. But it might be dangerous. We should plan carefully and make sure we have everything we need. We don't know what challenges we might face out there. The rabbit nodded, his nose twitching with enthusiasm. "I can help. I know some paths through the tall grass. We can scout out safe routes and find exciting things to explore." With their spirits high and a sense of adventure in their hearts, the friends began preparing for their journey. They gathered supplies, tiny bits of food, a few leaves for shelter, and even their precious treasures from the Festival of Friends. They wanted to share the stories behind their gems with any new friends they might meet along the way. "Okay, let's meet back here at dawn tomorrow," Brave Ant said, her determination shining through. "We'll set off on our grand adventure." As the sun dipped below the horizon, painting the sky in hues of orange and pink, the friends packed their belongings and said goodnight. They closed their eyes, dreaming of the wonders that awaited them beyond the meadow. The next morning, they awoke early, filled with excitement. The world outside was bathed in the golden light of dawn, and the air felt fresh and full of possibilities. They met at their designated spot, each of them buzzing with energy. "Ready for our adventure?" Brave Ant asked, her heart racing. "Ready," everyone exclaimed in unison. With that, they set off, eager to explore the unknown. They marched through the meadow, their tiny legs moving in perfect harmony. As they journeyed further away from home, the sights became more vibrant and the scents more diverse. Bright flowers waved gently in the breeze, and the distant sound of a bubbling brook called to them. After walking for a while, they reached the edge of the meadow, where the grass grew taller and wilder. "This is it," said the rabbit, his voice full of excitement. "Beyond here lies the Whispering Woods. I've heard tales of enchanted creatures that live there." Curious Ant gasped in delight. "I can't wait to see them. Let's go." As they entered the Whispering Woods, they were enveloped by a beautiful, magical atmosphere. The sunlight filtered through the leaves, casting playful shadows on the forest floor. The air was filled with the gentle sounds of rustling leaves and soft chirps of birds. But just as they were reveling in the beauty of the woods, they heard a soft, whispering voice. "Who goes there?" It floated through the trees, sending shivers down their spines. Brave Ant stepped forward, her heart pounding with courage. "We are just friendly explorers. We're on an adventure to discover new places and meet new friends." Suddenly, a tiny creature flitted out from behind a tree. It was a beautiful fairy, her wings shimmering in the dappled sunlight. "Welcome to the Whispering Woods," she chimed, her voice melodic and sweet. "I am Luna, the guardian of this magical place. It's rare to see ants and a rabbit in our woods. What brings you here?" Curious Ant couldn't contain her excitement. "We're on a great adventure. We want to explore beyond the meadow and discover all the wonders of the world." Luna smiled, her wings fluttering gently. Ah, the spirit of adventure. You are brave to venture into the woods. But beware, there are challenges ahead, and not all creatures are friendly. If you wish to explore deeper, you must first prove your courage. What do we need to do? Asked brave Ant, determination shining in her eyes. Luna pointed toward a path that wound deeper into the woods, lined with shimmering flowers. There is a hidden glade at the end of this path. In the center of the glade lies a magical stone that holds the heart of the forest. It is said to be protected by the mischievous Squirrel King, who loves riddles. If you can solve his riddle, he will allow you to take a piece of the magic back with you. If not, he might play a trick on you. The friends exchanged glances, their hearts pounding with excitement. "We'll do it," said brave Ant, her voice steady. "We're ready for the challenge." "Excellent," Luna said, her eyes sparkling. "Follow the path and be brave. Remember, true courage comes from within. Now go, and good luck." With a grateful nod to Luna, the friends set off down the shimmering path. The woods felt alive around them, and they could hear the soft rustle of leaves and the distant sound of laughter. After walking for a while, they finally arrived at the hidden glade. The air was fragrant with wildflowers, and in the center stood a large stone that glowed with a soft, warm light. But perched atop the stone was the Squirrel King, his bushy tail twitching playfully. Brave explorers," he exclaimed, his voice booming yet cheerful. "Welcome to my domain. You seek the heart of the forest, do you? But first, you must solve my riddle." "What's the riddle?" Curious Ant asked eagerly. The Squirrel King rubbed his paws together, his eyes glinting with mischief. "Listen closely. Here it is. Have keys but open no locks. I have space but no room. I have you and me, but you cannot be seen. What am I? Solve my riddle, and you may take a piece of the magic. Fail, and I'll keep you here to play with me for all eternity." Brave Ant, Curious Ant, Caring Ant, and the rabbit exchanged puzzled looks. What could it be? Brave Ant pondered aloud. "I have no idea," admitted Caring Ant, feeling a little nervous. "We need to think hard." Curious Ant closed her eyes, trying to visualize the riddle in her mind. Keys but no lock, space but no room, wait," she exclaimed, her eyes lighting up. "What if it's a keyboard? It has keys but no locks, and it has space but no room." "Brilliant, Curious Ant," Caring Ant cheered, feeling relieved. The rabbit bounced with excitement. "Let's tell him." Brave Ant stepped forward confidently. "Squirrel King, the answer to your riddle is a keyboard." The Squirrel King's eyes widened in surprise. "You're correct. I didn't think you'd guess it so quickly. Very well, you may take a piece of the magic from the heart of the forest." With that, he leaped down from the stone and gestured for them to approach. "Take a small glowing crystal from the stone, and may it bring you courage and friendship on your journey." The friends approached the stone, their hearts racing with joy. They each took a tiny crystal, its warm glow illuminating their faces. "Thank you, Squirrel King," they exclaimed, filled with gratitude. As they prepared to leave the glade, the Squirrel King chuckled. "Remember, brave explorers, that true magic comes from the connections you make and the adventures you share. Carry that magic with you." With the crystals safely tucked away, the friends thanked the Squirrel King and made their way back to the path. The journey back through the whispering woods felt different. They were filled with a sense of accomplishment and the thrill of discovery. Once they emerged from the woods, they found themselves in a completely new landscape. Hills rolled in the distance, and a sparkling river meandered through the valley below. "Look at this place," exclaimed Curious Ant. "It's beautiful." "We've never been here before," Brave Ant said, her heart racing with excitement. "Let's explore more." And so, they began their new adventure, eager to discover the wonders of this uncharted territory. With the warm glow of the crystals in their hearts, they felt braver than ever, ready to face whatever challenges awaited them in the great unknown. As they ventured further into the valley, They couldn't help but feel that this was just the beginning of something extraordinary, a journey filled with friendship, courage, and endless possibilities. And so, with their heads held high and hearts full of excitement, they took their first steps into this new chapter of their adventure, ready to embrace whatever lay ahead. The journey home. As brave ant, curious ant, caring ant, and the rabbit stepped into the breathtaking valley, they felt a rush of exhilaration wash over them. The air was fresh and filled with the sweet scent of wildflowers. Hills rolled gently in the distance, and a sparkling river wound its way through the vibrant green landscape, glimmering under the sun.
Wow.
"Look at all the colors," gasped Curious Ant, her eyes wide with wonder. "I've never seen anything like this before." Brave Ant nodded in agreement, her heart swelling with excitement. "Let's explore. Who knows what treasures we might find." They began their journey down the hill, their tiny legs moving in unison as they chatted animatedly about what they might discover. As they reached the riverbank, they paused to admire the water. The sunlight danced on the surface, creating a beautiful tapestry of sparkling reflections. "Look at those smooth stones," Caring Ant pointed out, her eyes gleaming with curiosity. "They could be perfect for making a tiny bridge across the river." "That's a great idea," said the rabbit, bouncing excitedly. "Let's build a bridge and see what's on the other side." Together, they gathered the smooth stones, working as a team to create a small yet sturdy bridge. With each stone they placed, their laughter echoed across the river. Once finished, they stood back to admire their work. "Okay, who wants to be the first to cross?" Brave Ant asked, a hint of mischief in her voice. "I will," Curious Ant declared, her eyes sparkling with excitement. "Here I go." With careful steps, she ventured onto the bridge. The stones wobbled slightly, but she held her breath and focused. As she reached the middle, she felt a rush of confidence. "I can do this," she cheered, crossing to the other side with a triumphant jump. "Your turn, Caring Ant," she called back, grinning from ear to ear. Caring Ant took a deep breath and followed suit, crossing with grace. "We did it," she exclaimed, her voice filled with joy. Then came the rabbit, who hopped across with boundless enthusiasm. "This is so much fun. I can't wait to see what's over there." Finally, it was Brave Ant's turn. With a mix of excitement and determination, she stepped onto the bridge. Each step felt like an adventure, and she beamed with pride when she reached the other side. "We did it together," she exclaimed, her heart bursting with happiness. Once everyone was safely across, they found themselves in a whole new world filled with towering trees and vibrant flowers. Butterflies danced in the air, and birds chirped melodiously in the branches above. "This place is magical," said Curious Ant, twirling around in delight. "Let's explore every inch of it." They wandered through the enchanting landscape, discovering hidden nooks and crannies filled with wonders. They found colorful mushrooms, tiny sparkling streams, and even a field of wild strawberries that grew in abundance. Each new discovery brought more joy and laughter. As they wandered, they stumbled upon a friendly hedgehog named Henry, who was busily collecting berries. "Hello there, little adventurers," he called, waving his tiny paws. "What brings you to this part of the valley?" "We're exploring," Curious Ant shouted, her eyes shining. "We just crossed a river and found this amazing place." Henry chuckled, his eyes twinkling. "Well, you've come to the right place. There are many wonders to discover here. Would you like to join me for a berry feast?" "Oh, yes, please," exclaimed Caring Ant, her mouth watering at the thought of sweet strawberries. They gathered together, sitting in a sunny patch of grass as Henry shared his delicious berry bounty. "These are the sweetest strawberries you'll ever taste," he said, handing out the bright red fruits. As they feasted, they shared stories of their adventures. Brave Ant told Henry about their journey to the Whispering Woods and the Squirrel King's riddle. In return, Henry shared tales of his own adventures, recounting encounters with wise old owls and playful foxes. The friends listened in awe, captivated by his stories. Every adventure teaches us something new, Henry said wisely. It's the friends we make along the way that turn these experiences into treasures. Exactly. Brave Ant agreed, feeling grateful for the friendships she had forged on this journey. After their feast, the friends thanked Henry for his hospitality and continued exploring the valley, their hearts full of joy. They danced in the wildflower fields, played games by the river, and even took turns climbing trees to see the world from above. As the sun began to dip toward the horizon, casting a warm golden light over the landscape, the friends found a cozy spot to sit and reflect on their day. They felt the gentle breeze on their faces and listened to the soft rustling of leaves. Today was the best day ever, Curious Ant said, her eyes shining like the stars above. I can't believe how many adventures we've had. Brave Ant nodded in agreement. And we did it all together. I love that we could explore, meet new friends, and find treasures along the way. Caring Ant smiled softly. Every moment we shared has been special. I'm so glad we took this journey. As they sat together, the glowing crystals from the whispering woods shimmered in their little packs, reminding them of the magic they carried in their hearts. Let's make a pact, Brave Ant suggested, her voice full of determination. No matter where our adventures take us, we'll always stick together. We're stronger as a team, and we can face anything. The others nodded enthusiastically, their hearts warmed by the promise of continued friendship. Together, we can conquer any challenge and enjoy every adventure that comes our way, the rabbit added, a wide grin on his face. With the sun setting in the background, they raised their tiny paws together in a gesture of unity. To friendship, courage, and endless adventures, they declared in unison. As the stars began to twinkle above, the friends knew it was time to head home. They retraced their steps, crossing the bridge they had built with laughter and joy. As they approached the familiar meadow, the sight of their cozy ant colony filled their hearts with warmth. The glowing crystals glimmered, reminding them of the magic they had discovered together. When they finally reached their home, the sun had set and the moon cast a gentle glow over the colony. They shared their stories with their fellow ants, recounting their adventures, the friends they had made, and the lessons they had learned. The other ants listened in awe, their eyes wide with wonder. You all had quite the adventure, the queen ant said with a smile. It's inspiring to see how brave you are. Brave Ant beamed with pride. We learned that with courage and friendship, we can overcome anything and discover the most amazing things. Curious Ant added, and every adventure is even better when shared with friends. As the night deepened, the friends settled down in their cozy little spots, their hearts still buzzing with excitement from the day's adventures. They whispered their dreams to one another, filled with the promise of more adventures yet to come. With the moon shining brightly overhead and the stars twinkling like tiny jewels, they closed their eyes, feeling grateful for the day they had spent together. They knew that tomorrow would bring new challenges, laughter, and endless adventures. And as they drifted off to sleep, they felt the magic of friendship surround them, a warmth that would guide them on all their journeys ahead.
Whispering echoes.